Hi everyone, welcome back to Up to Hue. Today we will be discussing whether or not you need a hub for your smart home or not. If you haven't already, please subscribe for us to show you more of the newest and coolest technological gadgets on the regular. Now to get straight into the video. First, I want to talk about why people use smart hubs, because there could be something you didn't know, and for this reason I will tell you what a smart hub is all about. For many people just starting, you may think it's probably just another hassle having to set up a whole new device that takes up space and makes it more complicated, as well as connecting them all together. And, well, as much as it sounds like it's more of a task to do, it's actually in many ways more beneficial, and there's a lot more room for creative freedom of what you want to do with your home. A hub works by communicating with all of your devices, so you don't have to separately do them on each individual app that the device comes with. Before continuing, I'd like to say make sure to stick to the end, as I will touch on best strategies to not using a hub. So in turn, with all this in retrospect, having a smart home hub is making people's lives easier rather than harder. Another reason it's harder without a hub is because you aren't able to make advanced settings that combine them thoroughly. Imagine you have your family members walking through the house. There are sensors on the doors, and they are walking into each room with these sensors. Since sensors don't really combine well with other devices without hubs, you're most likely going to have alerts coming through on your phone, TV, or speaker that change your lights or turn on other devices like music or the TV. Because of this, you don't get a minute's peace. At least with a hub, you can connect all of these and determine who is in your home and set it to know that everyone is in the house. Tying back into this, if you don't have a smart home hub and all these crazy things are going off, you're going to have to spend a lot of time having to customize and figure out what the best settings and triggers are for you, which is all right if you know how to code. Yes, that's right. Learning a whole new skill of learning how to code is going to make this hurdle hugely more big than as it is just to buy a hub, right? And if you have the time and patience for this, then by all means, give it your best shot. You may also just not have a lot of devices making things easier, but this really depends on what devices you want. The more you want, the more complicated it will be. Okay, so we know that you just want devices that are compatible with your smart home system. What about your Wi-Fi? If you have very high-speed quality Wi-Fi, then there's no need to worry about this. But if you are running off very low-speed Wi-Fi and you're trying to connect even only a few devices, this is going to clog up your whole broadband, and then you're going to find that things aren't running as they should. You're not able to get onto your phone to see your work emails. You aren't managing to load movies on your TV, and you can forget about Disney Plus because it simply will not load if you're doing this. Overall, all of this that we have covered so far combined will be stress-inducing for your regular everyday life. Maybe it's the case you don't mind actually having a hub, but with privacy being intruded with things such as HomeKit and Google and Amazon, your information is all going to the cloud, which could be used and sold to companies to find out more analytics of the general public and for marketing tactics. So how can we make this possible? Well, first things first, you need to find a local hub. For example, Hubitat, which is an entirely localized controlled hub, or another option is Home Assistant, which is also a hub that is locally controlled without having to connect to the cloud. But two major things to note are that with Hubitat, you have to code all of your automations, which will have a more advanced and difficult router interface. And the second thing is that you would have to chuck out anything that requires Wi-Fi, like your Hue lights and any other Wi-Fi connecting device you may have. They have all got to go, and now you would have to use Zigbee or Z-Wave products. There is still a lot of range of devices under these categories, so whichever you choose is up to you. Now that you have been given all of this information, you now know that it can be tricky and fiddly without knowing the proper knowledge of how to use a smart home without the hub, and this is why Generally, people are more appealed to starting their journey with a hub rather than without. But if you're still eager to know, and you want to continue trying it without one, I will give you all the advice you need right here in this video to get started and be able to run your own smart home without a hub. So what I recommend doing is, if you aren't the greatest tech wizard there is, maybe have a dedicated device, whether that be an iPad, tablet, or you want to use your phone. Set this up on a stand in a dedicated area in your house and keep it there for the majority of the time unless you need to take it with you for any reason. This ensures that you can have all of your smart apps and devices on one device, and it doesn't disturb the TV or anything else you have connected. You may still not have the perfect system, but if it works for you and your household, then that's all that matters. There are a few benefits to using just your Amazon, Google, or HomeKit devices. Like with HomeKit, you can set up scenes by just talking to your smart speaker or speaking to Siri through your iOS. You can give it a name like Movie Night, and it could change your lights to your perfect cinematic ambience and turn the TV on. Smart speakers are probably the best thing you can do when it comes to smart technology and not using a hub. You can tell it whatever you want it to do, and it will do it. If you're really set and insistent, and you know the way you plan to have your smart devices set up, then this is your go-to. The smart speakers will do it all for you. Now, I have to say, if you are planning on doing this, you're probably best to have another device with an app to control minute details, just in order for you to set up your scenes the way you want and your lights and other accessories. If you like music, then you won't have a problem with putting these in the house, especially having someone else telling you what the weather is and what your work assignments are for the day. Also, you know how many of these smart speakers are on the market. Sure, you might need to find one that is compatible with your devices, but again, there is a large range. There's Google, Amazon, HomePod, which is Apple, and there's also a few Bluetooth ones that actually do contribute to smart features like JBL, Sonos, and Bose. While they aren't as convenient as voice commanding assistants, they are still there for music lovers. Okay, so before I mentioned in the video that in order for you to set up a locally controlled smart home, you need to be very up to speed with coding and advanced knowledge within technology. Well, I actually did a little more research and figured out a way to do this with little to no actual knowledge of how to code. You may not have to touch a single line of code with this. It does require a bit of time to set this up, but what I am referencing is Home Assistant. It doesn't actually have a hub when you get it. You have to build one through Raspberry Pi, which is fairly inexpensive. You do this simply from your laptop by downloading it. So in order to sidestep that hub, the secret is Zigbee. Plug in a single Zigbee dongle and you're able to build your own mesh network with whatever devices you want. Bear in mind there are some devices that may cause problems and you might have to do some figuring out. But if you are truly committed to doing this, then you won't have a problem taking it a step further to understanding and going around this. By taking the step to doing this, you're essentially beating the use of the cloud. And if any of these companies were to fail on you, your home is safe from any deleted data. Let us know if any of this was useful in helping you decide if your home needs a hub or not. Please remember to hit the notification bell for us to let you know when we post another video. If you did like this video, please like and subscribe for more.